Hi, James here. Welcome to another Fuzzlecheck tutorial. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Fuzzlecheck interface. So by now, you've installed the software on your computer and you're ready to get to work. When you first open Fuzzlecheck, you're presented with this welcome page. In the upper left corner is the ID of the user currently logged in. That's me, James. Next to the login IDs are the new project options. And you can either start a local project, that is an offline project that is stored only on your computer and is accessible to one user, namely you, or you can choose an online project that's stored on the Fuzzlecheck servers and is accessible to 4, 8, or 20 members of your team, depending on which edition of Fuzzlecheck you are currently using. We'll cover the setting up of online projects in another tutorial. Now, I'm using the Units edition of Fuzzlecheck as noted here. This page will look exactly the same regardless of whether you're using the Standard, Pro, or Units editions, and you'll just have a different label here. Below the new project buttons are the buttons for opening existing projects. Again, these are either local projects on your hard drive or online projects in the cloud. And below the new projects button, we have a handy area with quick links to your last 3 projects. Okay, so let's go ahead and open the sample project I have set up for these tutorials. If we click on the project, you'll see we're taken to the main Fuzzlecheck window. So the main graphic interface is set up so it's familiar to users as it resembles the strip board that is common to all scheduling programs. Each strip represents a scene or part of a scene, and information is inputted into the different columns depending on the element's category. The tabs here represent the different boards that you can have open when creating different schedule scenarios. And those scenarios are made up of the strips that represent your scenes or parts of. And we'll look at creating strips from scratch in the next tutorial. You simply click, hold, and drag strips to move them around. Now in this main window, the day strips are at the beginning of the subsequent day, but you'll have the option to put them at the end of the day as part of the printing options that we'll look at in another tutorial. The day breaks will have the shoot date information on them, and like the scene strips, you simply click, hold, and drag them to move them around your schedule. Now this tab here is the unscheduled area. This is the holding bin for any strips that are not being used in the current board, and you can move strips back and forth from the main board to the unscheduled area as needed. You'll notice that the contents of the unscheduled area changes depending on which board is open. Users may identify this area as the boneyard. The strips will contain all the information about the scene, and there are a number of ways to get the relevant info onto the strips. Depending on your preferences, information could be presented in each category by name, a unique ID, or both. You'll see here in the cast column that the characters are represented by the usual method of numbers. And if we click this inspector button here, we get a window that details all the elements in the scene. Here's our cast with their respective numbers and names. The inspector is how we get details of the elements in the strips, but how do we get to the information about the elements themselves? That's this row of icons across the top here. Each icon represents an element's category. Here we have set, cast, extras, stunts, and so on. Click on the cast icon and the cast management window opens up, and we can see here the various bits of info relevant to this cast member. Name, agent's name, the day he's scheduled to work, and the scenes he's in. If we click on this button here, it brings up another inspector with more detailed information about that actor, his address, contact info, as well as his agent's contact info. Below that, we have a calendar that represents our actor's scheduled shoot days, as well as any days he's not available. Now remember, that element management window is the same regardless of the element, whether it's cast, extras, or picture vehicles. You simply fill in as much information as possible to make scheduling easier down the road. The next window we're going to look at is the calendar, accessed by this button here. The calendar can be scrolled by holding the window and dragging it back and forth, and you can resize the window with these buttons here. Calendar is separated into 3 areas. The area across the top is where you see notifications of any production-related events, such as meetings, surveys, cast travel, etc. You can add as many categories as you like. The middle area represents any non-availabilities for any elements such as cast, crew, or even sets and locations. You can see the gray dashes represent the scenes that element, in this case the cast, are scheduled in. And the bottom area is a mini board that has a small rectangle that represents the various scenes scheduled on that day. You'll notice this icon is colored the same as the strip it represents on the main board, and if we enlarge the calendar, we can see the strip info for each scene. Hover the mouse over the icon, and you'll see even more info presented. Our next window is the print or export window that is accessed by this button here. Here we have the export options of print, PDF, or text document. And on the left-hand side, these are all the reports that are available to the user. From the day out of days, to the extras report, to breakdown sheets, and the various one lines. The middle window gives you a preview of the report, and the right-hand side is all your options for content. You'll see the preview window updates in real time depending on the options you click on or off. For example, we can turn off the legend at the top of the one line, or we can take the extras off and the preview updates automatically. Now, obviously, there is a lot of customization available here, and we will get into report design in another tutorial. The print button will bring up your printer window. The PDF button will directly export your document as a PDF, and some reports will allow you to export them as either a Word-compatible or Excel-compatible document, depending on the final report required. For example, this Schedule A can be exported as a text document for embedding into Word, or if we click on this Extras breakdown, we are given the opportunity of exporting as a spreadsheet for using in Excel. Okay, so that's a brief overview of the main interface of Fuzzlecheck 4. Check out the other tutorials for more information, or email us at info@fuzzlecheck.com if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.